I lent my sister $5,000 for emergency bills. A week later, she was on Instagram with Gucci bags. Relax, you'll survive, she texted. I didn't reply, letting her think she won. Today, 30 missed calls lit up my phone. I sued and moved on. Her betrayal taught me. Now she's in debt and I'm free. My revenge is her regret. I don't forgive thieves. Look, I gotta tell you guys about this absolute mess with my sister that went down last month. Still can't believe this actually happened. But here we are. So picture this. I'm chilling at home on a Tuesday night, probably binge-watching some Netflix show with a bag of Doritos, when my phone starts buzzing like crazy. It's my sister calling, and she's practically sobbing into the phone, like full-on. Ugly crying. Can barely get words out kind of sobbing. She's going on about how she's gonna lose her apartment, how the electric company's threatening to shut off her power, and how she needs exactly $5,000 by Friday or she's basically homeless. Now, me and my sister, we've had our ups and downs, you know? Growing up, she was always the golden child while I was the one getting grounded for bringing home B's instead of A's. But family's family, right? And hearing her cry like that, man, it hit me right in the gut. She's talking about how embarrassed she is to even ask, how she'll pay me back as soon as she gets her next paycheck, the whole 9 yards. I'm sitting there thinking about my savings account, that money I'd been putting away for a down payment on a house. $5,000 isn't pocket change for me. I work at a local credit union, decent job, but nothing fancy, and saving that much took me like 8 months of eating ramen and skipping happy hours with my coworkers. But she's my sister, you know? So I tell her, all right, I'll transfer it tomorrow morning, but you gotta promise me you'll pay it back by the end of the month? She's thanking me like I just saved her life, promising up and down that she'll never forget this, that she owes me everything. Really laying it on thick. The next morning, I'm at work doing the transfer, and my manager Sarah notices I look kinda stressed. When I tell her what's going on, she gives me this look. You know the one your mom gives you when you're about to do something stupid? She goes, just make sure you get that in writing, honey. But I brush it off because it's family, right? Wrong move, but we'll get to that. So I send the money, $5,000, gone from my account just like that. My sister texts me this long message about how grateful she is, how she's gonna make this right, all that good stuff. I'm feeling pretty good about myself, like I'm this amazing sister who came through in a crisis. Update, hey everyone, thanks for all the support so far. This story gets way worse, and I'm still processing some of this stuff. But I wanted to ask, have any of you ever had a family member completely betray your trust like this? Because what happened next still makes my blood boil. Fast forward 1 week, one freaking week. I'm scrolling through Instagram during my lunch break, just mindlessly looking at pictures of people's food and their dogs, when bam, there's my sister's story, and she's at some fancy restaurant downtown. Not just any restaurant, this place where appetizers start at like $30. She's got this huge smile, holding up a cocktail that probably costs more than my grocery budget for the week. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part is what she's wearing. This girl is head to toe in designer gear. I'm talking a Louis Vuitton purse that I know for a fact costs at least $2,000 because I saw it at the mall once and almost choked on my Starbucks when I saw the price tag. She's got on these Louboutin heels. You know, the ones with the red bottoms that cost like $800. And draped over her chair is this Gucci jacket that probably cost more than my car payment. I'm sitting in my cubicle, staring at my phone, feeling like I'm gonna throw up, like literally nauseous. This girl told me she was about to be homeless, and here she is, living it up like she just hit the lottery. With my money. My money that I worked my butt off to save. I screenshot everything. Every single story, every post, every tagged location. Then I sit there for like 10 minutes just staring at my phone, trying to figure out what to do. Part of me wants to call her right then and there and absolutely go off, but something tells me to wait. To think this through. When I get home that night, I'm pacing around my apartment like a caged animal. I keep looking at those screenshots, getting more and more angry. Finally, I decide to text her. Nothing confrontational, just a simple, hey, saw your Instagram. Fancy place, glad to see you're doing better. Her response comes back in like 2 minutes. Oh, that. My friend paid for everything. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I just gave her $5,000 of my hard-earned money, and she's telling me not to worry about her dropping probably another $1,000 on a night out. But I don't respond. Something in my gut tells me to just wait and see what else she does. The next few days, it's like she can't help herself. More Instagram posts, more designer stuff. A shopping trip to Nordstrom where she's showing off bags. From Michael Kors and Kate Spade. A spa day at some high-end place that charges $200 for a facial. Each post feels like a slap in the face. Then comes the text that really set me off. I send her a casual message asking when she thinks she'll be able to start paying me back, and her response is just mind-blowing. Relax, you'll survive. I'll get it to you when I get it to you. Relax, you'll survive. Like I'm being unreasonable for wanting my $5,000 back. Like I'm some kind of bank that just hands out interest-free loans to people who lie about emergencies. That text message was the moment I knew I was done playing nice. Update. Okay guys, I can see from the comments that you're all as mad as I was. Someone asked if I confronted her directly. Honestly, at this point, I was beyond that. I realized this wasn't about the money anymore. It was about respect. And she clearly had zero respect for me. So I decided to handle this differently. What would you have done in my situation? I didn't respond to that text. Not a word. I just let her think. She'd won, that she'd successfully put me in my place, and I was gonna roll over and take it. Meanwhile, I'm putting together a plan. Because see, when you work at a credit union, you learn a few things about money and legal stuff. And I learned that what my sister did has a name, fraud. I start documenting everything. Every Instagram, post, every story, every piece of evidence that shows she lied about needing the money for bills. I'm printing out bank statements, saving screenshots, building a case. My coworker Mike, who used to work at a law firm, helps me understand what I need to prove that she obtained the money under false pretenses. The next week, my sister's social media is just more of the same. Designer clothes, expensive restaurants, weekend trips to Nashville with her girlfriends. She's living it up while I'm back to eating peanut butter sandwiches for lunch because my savings account is basically empty. But here's the thing about people who live beyond their means, it always catches up to them. And boy, did it catch up to her fast. 3 weeks after I gave her the money, I get a call from my mom. Apparently, my sister's been calling around to different family members, asking for loans. She tried to hit up our cousin for $3 grand, told our aunt she needed help with her car payment, even asked our grandma for money. Same sob story every time. Bills, emergencies, gonna lose everything. But here's what my sister didn't know. I'd already told my mom about the $5,000, not to tattle on her, but because I was genuinely worried about her financial situation and thought maybe mom could help her figure out a budget or something. So, when my sister starts making the rounds asking for more money, mom connects the dots real quick. Mom calls me back an hour later and she is heated. Like, I haven't heard her this angry since my sister crashed her car in high school. Turns out, after mom confronted her about the Instagram posts, my sister admitted she'd spent my money on clothes and going out. Just straight up admitted it. Like it was no big deal. That's when I made my decision. I was done being the understanding sister who gets walked all over. I called a lawyer. The consultation was free, and the lawyer, this no-nonsense woman named Patricia, who reminded me of my high school math teacher, laid it out for me straight. What my sister did was definitely fraud, and I had a solid case. The Instagram posts were basically gift-wrapped evidence that she'd lied about why she needed the money. Filing the lawsuit cost me $400, which honestly hurt given my financial situation, but Patricia assured me I'd get that back if we won. And based on the evidence, she was pretty confident we would win. The best part? In our state, you have to serve papers in person, so I got to watch the process server show up at my sister's apartment with the legal documents. I wasn't there, obviously, but my neighbor texted me later that there was some kind of drama happening across the hall from her. Apparently, my sister was screaming about how I was being ridiculous and that family doesn't sue family. Update. This is where things get really interesting, guys. A lot of you have been asking what happened with the lawsuit and whether I actually got my money back. Well, buckle up because the ending is better than I could have hoped for. But first, do you think I went too far by suing my own sister? Because her reaction to getting served made me question everything for a hot minute. After my sister got served, my phone started blowing up. And I mean, blowing up. 30 missed calls in one day, text messages every 5 minutes, voicemails that started out angry and progressively got more panicked as the day went on. In the first few messages, she's calling me every name in the book, saying I'm destroying our family, that she can't believe I'd sue my own sister over money. But as the day goes on and she probably talks to a lawyer or does some Googling, the tone completely changes. Suddenly she's begging, promising to pay me back immediately, saying she'll do anything to make this right. But here's the thing, it was too late for all that. She had multiple chances to do the right thing. When I asked nicely about getting paid back, she told me to relax and that I'd survive. When mom confronted her, she could have come clean and tried to make amends. But instead, she kept lying, kept spending money she didn't have, and kept treating me like I was stupid. The lawsuit moved forward, and let me tell you, having Instagram posts as evidence made everything so much easier. Patricia presented everything to the judge. The text messages where my sister claimed she needed money for bills, the bank transfer showing I sent $5,000, and then dozens of social media posts showing her spending money on luxury items within days of receiving my loan. The judge was not amused, like, at all. During the hearing, my sister tried to argue that she did have bills to pay, and that the designer stuff was gifts from friends. But when Patricia showed the timeline of her posts and asked her to provide proof of these supposed gifts, she couldn't. She also couldn't provide any evidence that she'd actually paid any bills with my money. The whole thing took about 2 months from filing to resolution, and I won. Not only did I get my $5,000 back, but I also got the court costs and interest. Plus, now there's an official legal record of what she did. But the real karma? While all this legal stuff was happening, my sister's financial house of cards completely collapsed. Turns out she'd been living way beyond her means, for months running up credit card debt and taking cash advances to fund her lifestyle. When she couldn't get any more money from family members and had to pay me back, everything fell apart. Her credit cards got maxed out, she couldn't make her car payment, and she actually did end up having to move out of her fancy apartment. Chasto. I heard from mom, she's living with some friend and working 2 jobs trying to dig herself out of debt. Meanwhile, I used the money I got back to finally put that down payment on a house. A nice little place with a yard and everything. Sometimes I drive past my sister's old apartment building and think about how different things could have been if she'd just been honest with me from the start. The crazy part is, if she'd come to me and said, "Hey, I really want this designer bag, but I can't afford it. Could you help me out?" I probably would have said no, but I would have respected her honesty. Instead, she chose to lie, manipulate, and then disrespect me when I asked for my money back. These days, we don't really talk. She sent me one text after the court case saying she hoped I was happy with myself for destroying our relationship. I never responded. Because honestly, I am happy with myself. I'm happy that I stood up for myself instead of being a doormat. I'm happy that I didn't let someone take advantage of my kindness. And I'm happy that I learned this lesson about trust and family before I made an even bigger financial mistake. Some people say family should forgive family no matter what, but I disagree. Family should treat family with respect, and when they don't, there have to be consequences. My sister chose designer bags over our relationship, and that's something she has to live with. Now I'm sitting in my own house, finally free from that whole mess, and I gotta say, revenge really is sweet when it's served through the legal system. My sister taught me a valuable lesson about trust, but more importantly, she taught me about standing up for myself, and honestly, that lesson was worth way more than $5,000. The best part is knowing that every time she looks at those designer bags gathering dust in her closet, or when she's working her second job to pay off debt, she'll remember that her betrayal cost her way more than just money. It cost her a sister who would have done anything for her. And unlike her debt, that's something she can never pay back.